And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we will stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our QSO-VLOG network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, fullest sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running with very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the QSO-VLOG network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today, we're currently featuring over 1,500 QSO-VLOG Aircheck recordings. Our mission statement for the network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated, and they are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specifically oriented dipole antenna. One leg of this dipole is broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube QSO-VLOG video. And as we come together for another day of the QSO-VLOG network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations, QSA 5, to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this is an area of the band where we have many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking in to our QSO-VLOG net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. Again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. And the final operational note, due to icing on our local power lines, we're running a 10 over S9 noise level, so to be able to copy the mail, we're running a 15 dB noise blank level, so there will be some added distortion in our receive audio recordings this week. We'll try to use as much as possible one of our 4 internet SDR receivers. And this Friday afternoon is the QSO-VLOG network, and now let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Got a copy? Yes, Jim. Beautiful. You're 9 plus 10 to 20 direct. I don't have a computer here. We're copying you extremely well, right out in the clear, and mostly cloudy now after a very sunny start to the day, and we still have a little over 2 feet of snow on the average ground, and it's 28 degrees. That's the high. So back to you, and I have a message, well, not a message, but a recording from Captain Mike made this morning on the 19th of February, 2021, at 37,000 feet over, I believe he was northwest of Omaha. Go ahead, Jim, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, gosh, we're always interested in hearing Captain Mike, so go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, and of course he's in a Boeing 767 jet flying from Sacramento to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at 37,000 feet, and here he is, I hope.
KH4 Whiskey Charlie in there, Jim.
Okay, here we go.
Charlie, we're just northwest of Omaha. At flight level 370, we're doing 520 knots with a 70 knot tailwind. And it looks like the temp up here is minus 51 degrees with a distance to Philadelphia at just over 1,000 miles. K1GZL from KH4 Whiskey Charlie.
That's Celsius.
Miles west of Dubuque at the present moment at 370. So, but there you go, KF7E Whiskey Charlie. Charlie, I'm at 46 miles west of Dubuque at the present moment. We're at 370. Temp up here is minus 47, and we're showing about 527 knots, and there you have it. And I think I heard something there.
Okay, so there you are, Jim. How did Captain Mike come through from 37,000 feet, 8,000 feet higher than Mount Everest? Go ahead.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Of course, my Milford SDR shut down about 20 seconds into it, and I quickly switched over to Rochester and then brought Milford back up. And I just happened to look at the S-meter on the Milford SDR radio, and I never look at those S-meters because I mainly just go by way of noise or lack thereof as far as which SDR I'm going to. I don't seldom ever consult the S-meter on the SDR, but that's one of the things that you get on an internet SDR. And I just looked up as you were going along there, and you were 30 over on the Milford SDR, Roger?
30 over. Roger? Wow. I'm glad I'm figured it out. No, I just can't load this thing up on this frequency too well, as I'm resonating way down the band. But that's amazing. It's probably in the Milford there. You're probably very, very close to the skip over point. I think anything much closer than that would be skipped over. You get this tremendous peak just before it goes over. By the way, here's how you're coming in direct from your backyard to mine.
Things that you get on an internet SDR, and I just looked up as you were going along there, and you were 30 over on the Milford SDR, Roger.
Okay, how'd that come through, Jim? K1G's it up.
Just perfect, Charlie. Just perfect. Your recordings are just excellent. And are you using the digital part of that 7300 to record now, or what? 100 to record now, or what?
No, I'm just going electronically right into it. Jim developed this at WA3FET, and I'm just using, just a little cassette, but I'm going electronically into the 7300. I am in the broad position, here, and and the compression is at 3. Compression is at 3. And the mic gain I have at 52%, and the drive power is 35 watts. Go ahead.
Roger. We're just doing an amazing job, Charlie, as always. So let me say 73 up that way, sir. Thanks for opening our show, Roger.
Roger, Jim, and I hope we can work you next week at the same time. And you're right in the room. Terrific copy. So 73. I hope you didn't lose too much of Captain Mike when the other SDR acted up. K1GZO, we are clear. Been a pleasure always.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I'm on a rotary switch, and one is just next to the other, so it wasn't more than a second and a half. That's the neat part about a rotary selector. They are so quick. There's nothing faster as far as a selector than a rotary switch. 73, Charlie. This is the KC9VKV QSO-VLOG net, and my name is Jim, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout, and we'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, along with today's date, 2/19/21, and that will take you directly to this recording. Now, if you do a call letter search without the date, it will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and on that page now we're featuring over 1,500 recorded QSO-VLOG programs that you might find also interesting. So this is KC9VKV. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Golf 4, Foxtrot, November 2, radio.
Roger, Kilo Golf, station Kilo Golf 4, I think it was. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Golf 4, Foxtrot, Yankee, Victor.
Foxtrot, Yankee, Victor. Roger. What's the name there, please?
My name is Ricky, Romeo, India, Charlie, Kilo, Echo, Yankee.
Roger, Ricky, and what is your location, sir?
My location is Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
Roger, West Virginia. And what radio are you running today, sir?
I am running FT847 J2.
Roger. And would you be interested in our setup procedure?
Yes, I would.
All right, it all begins with getting your compressor online and at a 3. Get that compressor engaged at a 3. That's the beginning of our setup procedure. It's very token amount of compression, but it does exactly what it needs to do, Roger.
Romeo, I don't know what you mean.
You have a compressor on your radio. Is that a Roger?
Well, there's a compressor.
Processor, compressor, they go by either one of those names. Are you familiar with your 847?
847.
I had it for years. I'm sure what you're talking about.
Do you have a compressor on your radio, sir? That's what that's the beginning of our setup procedure.
Beginning of a setup procedure.
I reckon.
Repeat.
Repeat.
I guess I did.
Well, gosh, do you know if you have a compressor on your radio? That's the beginning of our setup procedure. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do.
Don't, you don't. If you do, you do.
No, I don't know.
All right, we'll forget that part. We'll move ahead. Then we'd go to your ALC with mic gain in hand. Do you have, I'm assuming you do have a mic gain control on that radio.
A mic gain control on that radio.
Yes, I did.
All right, and do you have an ALC indication?
An ALC indication.
No, I don't.
All righty, well, gosh, I guess we're about done, sir. Thanks for checking in, Roger. We don't have anything to work with, so you're on your own, buddy.
You're on your own, buddy.
This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Give me a shout.
Alpha Bravo 9, Papa Foxtrot.
Alpha Bravo 9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign, please.
QSO, this is Alpha Bravo 9, Papa Foxtrot. That's America Bakers 9, Panama, Florida.
Roger, and what's the name there, please?
The name on this end is Ricky. It's Romeo, India, Kilo, Charlie, Yankee, and I'm located about 30 miles northwest of you in Paoli, Indiana.
Roger, Paoli. Well, Ricky, you're the second Ricky in a row here this morning or this afternoon, and what radio are you running?
Oh, real good. Well, I heard that, and it kind of caught me off guard, but I am running the Yazoo STDX 1200 here. Had it for a few years. Real happy with it. I just wanted to reach out and wave a hand to you there, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, we do have a setup procedure. It's generic in nature, but it does take an average 30 transmitter that's running 30% average peak modulation and moves it up to 80 to 85%. So if you would be interested in the setup.
Not today, actually. I'm happy with the audio. Got a lot of comments on it, so I'm happy with the audio. I don't like to make too many changes, but I do appreciate the offer there, sir.
Roger, Ricky. Well, you might consider boosting your top-end EQ a couple of clicks on the treble to give it a little more articulation. You could use just a tad more articulation in your audio, which would be 2 clicks to boost to Treble EQ. Roger?
Roger that. Well, I'll give that a try here in the future. I just wanted to wave a hand since you're a neighbor and I can finally hear you. So, anyways, I'll let you pick up some others there and help them out, and hopefully you get a lot of contacts today. KC9VKV, this is Alpha Bravo 9 from Papa Foxtrot. 73s, my friend. It was a pleasure.
Roger, Ricky. 73 is up that way, and stay warm. We've got plenty of snow and ice on the ground to deal with. I'm getting about a 10 over S9 noise level of impulse from some snow up on the lines being probably circumventing a insulator somewhere. And I guess we'll deal with that until we get a higher temperature and get some of this stuff melted off. So I am running also a little noise blank to compensate for the impulse noise. So 73 that way, Ricky, and we'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Good afternoon, Jim. Kilo, Golf 8, Charlie Whiskey.
Okay, Kilo Golf 8 station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Phonetically with your call sign, please.
Kilowatt Golf 8, Charlie Whiskey.
Roger, Roger, Charlie Whiskey, what's the name there?
Roger, Charlie Whiskey, what's the name there?
Name is Mike.
Roger, Mike, and what radio are you running today, sir?
What radio are you running today, sir?
Well, we're running the Yaesu FT-DX 101MP and feeding that into a Alpha 87A and a dipole at the moment. You're coming in about S8, S9 on the vertical and S9 plus 10 on the dipole, so we thought we'd start out here.
Roger, Mike, and where are you located, sir?
We are in northern Michigan, small town of Beulah near Crystal Lake. Currently getting 6 more inches of snow. We have warmed up from -6 to about 27, so it's almost like a heat wave.
Almost like Miami, Florida, but not quite. But hopefully Mother Nature will be kicking in a little warmer side here shortly. Well, I think we could probably help you out modulation-wise if you would be interested.
Yes, we're running an Electro Voice 320 right now, straight into the rig, no kind of equalization. So yeah, let's see what a trained ear might come up with.
All right, sir. It starts with our generic setup with the engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a very small amount, but it does what we need it to do. So turn your compressor on at a 3, Roger.
At a 3, Roger.
Yep, and on this rig, you know, on a 3, it goes by a digital number. Currently running it at about 48%, keeping it around the 10% mark.
Okay, so you are 0 to 100 on that input level control reading?
Yeah, it's a compressor reading, and it's 0 to 20 dB, and we're bouncing at right around the 10 dB mark.
Okay, so what we're looking for is about 30% of activity from that compressor. So right now you would be probably at about 50%. So we're looking maybe 15, somewhere in there. That would be, wouldn't that be about 30% of that compressor capability?
That would drop it down to 20% or 20 on the dial. How does that, any noticeable difference?
Well, what we're looking for again is a third. So what's your maximum reading on your input level?
20 dB, and then there's no graph beyond that on the compressor scale. Keeping it between half and 2/3 on the ALC, but on the compression reading, it's staying right around the, well, it's a little high now. It's like 10 to 14%, or dB rather.
I'll tell you what, why don't you give me a silent key for 3 seconds and let me see what happens here? Roger, I think you're good where you are there. Your dynamic range is 3 dB because your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. So let's consider that part done. Let's move to your onboard equalization. Roger, Roger.
Alrighty, I'll bring that menu up. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. When we get it up, I'd like to hear, if it's a 3-band EQ, what those settings are. Roger.
Okay, Jim, real good. Yeah, it's a 3-band, but it also is separate for both with and without the compressor, so I'm going to do the one with the compressor. Currently running 100 hertz, -2 and 2.
Okay, it's a 3-band EQ, and what we want to do is keep that middle EQ flat. We want to be sure our middle EQ on a 3-band is in the flat mode. Roger?
So you're talking around the 900 hertz range, and that's looking at a 2 level and a 2 bandwidth.
Roger. So, I mean, you have three controls, one for the treble, one for the mid-range, one for the bass. And I understand they're parametric, so let's just leave the parametric part where it is and just deal with the treble, mid-range, and bottom end EQ. And the mid-range EQ should be plus or minus 0. We should neither be push nor cut on the mid-range. Roger?
Set at 0 for mid-range at 900 hertz.
Yes, sir. Now move to your top end, and what's the top end EQ at the moment?
Top end EQ at the moment.
Well, we're running at 1900 hertz, +5 and a 1.
Okay, I want you. Can you move that center bandpass of that treble EQ up a little higher, maybe 25 or thereabouts?
5 or thereabouts.
Okay, there's 25.
Okay, and then as far as the level of that, 2 clicks hotter, 2 clicks push from where you are on the treble EQ. Roger.
Roger.
Okay, at 2500 or 2500 hertz, this has gone up 2 clicks. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Roger, Roger. Do you have one more click available? If so, move it one more click up, boost.
Move it one more click up, boost.
Okay, I do. I went up one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I also have the bandwidth available for how wide it spreads out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Now, just out of curiosity, could you move that up to 27? 27 on that treble EQ? 27 center frequency?
The center frequency?
Okay, 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, the frequency is in use. Other station frequency is in use. We're currently talking to Mike, KG8CW in Michigan. And so, Mike, if you could give me about 10 seconds on your antenna system so I could hear your audio. Roger?
So I could hear your audio. Roger.
Okay, Jim, real good. Well, currently running a dipole. But seems to be the stronger signal this afternoon. The vertical was about 4 dB down from there, so we stayed here. And that should be about enough time. KG8CW.
Roger, Mike. Now on that low end EQ, what are your numbers on that?
100 hertz -2, and the bandwidth or how wide it spreads is 2, which is a default setting.
All righty. Let's. Can you move that up to 150? Can you move your base cut frequency up to 150?
Unfortunately, it jumps by 100, so here's 200.
Alrighty, and then on your, as far as your attenuation, make it 2 clicks roll from where you are. 2 clicks roll further on your base EQ.
So 2 up or 2 down?
2 cut, 2 roll.
I guess I'm not clear on which way. It was a -2 and now it's a +2.
No. We want to cut 2 dB, reduce that control to -2 dB from where it was.
Okay. How's that? -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Roger. And tell me in about 10 seconds what you like about your radio, Roger.
Well, it's upgraded from the AZ1000 years ago. This includes, of course, DSP processing, which is just phenomenal in CW. It's nothing to get down to 150. Phenomenal in CW. It's nothing hertz and virtually wipe out interference.
Roger, I think we got it, sir. I was using Rochester SDR initially to copy the mail on you, and you know, these Internet SDR receivers roll off after 300 cycles, and so you were sounding pretty good on Rochester, and then I went over to my local antenna, and today is not a good day around here for local ham radio. I've got a lot of power line QRN, and so I'm having to run noise blank, and noise blank introduces a certain amount of distortion, but neither here nor there. My receiver is very flat down to 100 cycles, so when I went to my receiver, it was still a little muddy, so that's why we went back and did that bottom end EQ, and so now you're sounding both good on my local antenna and on the Internet SDRs. Roger?
On the Internet SDRs, Roger.
Okay, real good, Jim. Kind of curious. I've listened to the monitor on my end, and untrained ear, that's kind of the best that I could come up with. I do appreciate your time today. Got a question for you. In your years of broadcast, and equating from that, you say average typical best microphone would be for, say, a Yaesu radio. Do you have any opinion?
Oh gosh, I think by and large, if you were to get an electret microphone of almost anybody's design, it would probably outperform most dynamic microphones as far as articulation, top end, presence, and just being able to, in my estimation, even a El Cheapo electret condenser microphone versus a condenser versus a dynamic microphone is like walking through the door. Now, it depends on if your radio has a DC voltage to run that electret, or do you have to run a preamp that furnishes phantom power supply to that microphone, Roger?
Yeah, okay. Well, the Electro Voice 320 here seems to perform pretty well. In fact, it performed better with the amount of output it was doing than I was pretty happy with it, and I was pretty happy overall with it. So I was pretty happy with it, and I was pretty happy overall with its waveform. All right, Jim, appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and hopefully the snow won't find you. KC9VKV, KG8CW.
Roger, Mike. Well, I'm saying the EVs are great mics, the 20s and all that through there. I've used a lot of those in commercial broadcasts, but I'm still saying that even a cheap electret microphone is just will give you so much more articulation in the top end. But that's my opinion, and so, opinions are like whatever, and, everyone's got one. So thanks for dropping by, Mike. And if you get a chance, you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 2/19/21, it will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
21, it will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Okay, QSO. Very good, Jim. Thanks. KG8CW.
Roger, Mike, 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KC9MVK.
There's a W4 station out there. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign, please.
Out there. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign, please.
Whiskey 4, Zulu, Golf, India.
Was that Whiskey 4 Kilo Golf, India?
Was that Whiskey 4 Kilo Golf, India?
Zulu as in zinc, and galvanized iron.
Give me one more time. Let me try a different path here. Come back and tell me about your antenna system just for a minute. Let me look for a better path. Roger?
Tell me about your antenna system just for a minute. Let me look for a better path. Roger?
IKE, and I'm on an ICOM 7600. Over.
Yes, sir. And I got to do something here. I have my noise blank on because I have severe impulse noise, but I'm going to try to get rid of that. Hang on just a second. I think that should do it. Come back now and with your call sign slowly, phonetically, please.
Roger. This is Whiskey 4 Zulu Golf India. Name is Mike. Over.
Roger, Mike, Zulu Golf India. And I'm on my local antenna. I got my noise blank off. You sound like $1 million. 20 over. Where are you located, sir?
I'm in northeast corner of Alabama, right up by Chattanooga and Huntsville, Alabama, right in that corner of the state.
Roger that. And what radio are you running again?
I'm on an ICOM 7600. Over.
Roger. And the name there, please, sir?
Name is Mike, like a microphone.
Yes, sir. And okay, give me 10 seconds now that I've got an excellent copy on you. Give me about 10 seconds on the thing you like best about your radio.
Well, I've got an ICOM 7300 also, and I've compared this with the ICOM 7300. They're very similar in a lot of aspects, but I like the size of this radio and a few of the features. I like the screen. It's just a nice, bigger radio than the 7300, Jim, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, looking at your audio, it looks really close, but we might go through it just to be sure how close we are. If you have your compressor engaged at a 3, a token amount, but it does exactly what we need to do. So compressor on at a 3. Roger?
Roger, it is on at a 3, and I'm at the top 3/4 of my ALC range on the meter.
Yes, sir. So you're dead on 3 dB dynamic range, which is where you need to be. And so let's move to your onboard EQ, Roger?
Roger, roger.
And on your onboard EQ, what is it, a 3-band? And if so, what are the settings?
No, it's not. It's a 2-band. It's got TX tone bass and TX tone treble. And the settings are -5 to 0 to +5. And on the bass, I'm at +1, just one notch above the center. Over.
Yes, sir. And what are you on the top?
Am I on the what, sir?
What is your reading on your treble EQ side?
That is +3. That is +3.
All right, let's take that on up to 5. It sounds like a very near EQ setting like the 7300 would do, where they only have 2. And the reason you only have a treble and a bass boost is that the 3-band is designed to for the top to go balanced to the mid-range and the bottom to go balanced to the mid-range. So, and usually we recommend that the mid-range be flat. So, you know, a lot of manufacturers now said, well, if it's flat, why put it there? So, and that's exactly what they've done. They've given you a top and a bottom to catch up with a fixed mid-range. So what we want to do now is see if we can get a little more top end, maybe +5, which is, I guess, your max. I'd like to hear you at that range. Roger?
Roger. I just moved it to +5, the max on the treble EQ, and I'm still at +1 on the bass EQ.
Yes, sir. I think that's just ideal. Now, you might want to consider getting a windscreen, a foam windscreen, sometime in the future of that microphone, and that would take out the last part of the plosives. Roger?
Roger. I just put a foam windscreen on it. Did that help any, Jim?
I just heard a P. Give me a little more dialogue with P's and B's in there.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, this is the. I'm using an Electret mic. It's a Chinese copy of a broadcast station type, DJs type microphone they sell now, and they're pretty nice little microphones. And I'm with you on the Electrets. I like them a lot. Over.
Yes, sir, that's ideal. I did not hear one plosive in all of that. So that microphone, foam windscreen, does you a real good job. Roger?
Roger, I appreciate you very much. So you think we got her set up pretty good, Jim?
Oh, yes, sir. I think you're good to go. And if you would like to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, along with today's date, 2/19/21, it will take you directly to recording. Roger?
Roger. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great weekend. KC9VKV, W4ZGI 73.
Roger, roger, Mike 73, sir. Have a good afternoon. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Delta 2. You want to check out? Delta 2. Kilo Delta 8. Victor.
There's a Kilo Delta 2 out there. Let me get to another place in my logbook. A Kilo Delta 2 station. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign, please.
Roger, roger. Call sign is Kilo Delta 2. Sierra X-ray Delta. Name here is Mike. Mike India Kilo Echo. And located in Jacksonville, Florida. Over.
Roger. And what was the name there? SDX or SXD? Roger, Mike. Well, we have some inconsiderate son of a gun that wants to tune up on the frequency. It's not nice to tune up on an active frequency. Please exercise a little common sense. Do not tune up on an active frequency. Thank you very much. All right, Mike, let me, I've got about a 2 over my local noise level, and if you would, come back and give me about 10 seconds or so on your antenna system, and let me see if I can find a better path. Roger?
Roger that.
See if I can find a better path.
I'm using a ICOM 7300 right now with the end fed long wire in the tree about 30 feet. We've worked before. This is before I had the new mic, and just wanted to get your input on how the settings are. I followed your directions pretty much, and I think I got it down packed. I'm just looking for a little bit more bassier or top end to make sure everything is good during your analyzer. Roger.
Roger. Unfortunately, your signal is not good enough for me to get on my local antenna, my local radio, which is down flat to 100 cycles, to be able to guide you. But I can bring you up on Milford, hopefully, and let me do that. It shut down. I'm bringing it back. I'm constantly playing catch up with these guys. They have so many rules and regulations about how long they're going to let you on, then they cut you off for not doing something, and then for doing too much, and I don't know. But I've got you back on Milford now, so what I want to do is be able to listen to your audio just a little bit more. So why don't you tell me something you like best in 10 seconds about your 7300?
Best in 10 seconds about your 7300.
Roger that, Jim. Well, I like the ease and functionality of the radio. I love the big screen, the nice touch screen, and it's very easy to work with. I compared this radio to the 991 Alpha, and between the two, the menu system alone is much better on the ICOM than fumbling around with the Yaesu 991 Alpha. Hopefully that's enough there. Let's see if you pick me up in the Milford. Back to you, Jim.
Yes, sir. Yes, that was fine. Now, just review some of those settings. I know your compressor is engaged at a 3. That's a Roger?
Compressor is engaged at a 3. That's a Roger?
That's a Roger. Compressor is engaged at a 3. My transmitter bandwidth is 100 to 2900 all across the board. And right now my treble is at a +4 and my bass is at a +3. Over.
Yes, sir. Usually what I do is I go from the compressor setting to the ALC. The ALC is actually the most important setting that you have on that radio. It will tell you exactly what your radio is doing better than, your buddy down the street. So what we want to be sure is that ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain manipulation.
By way of mic gain manipulation.
Roger. Yes, the ALC is right now is currently running mid-scale to 2/3. Over.
Yes, sir. And your EQ is very nice. And what mic was that you're running?
Is very nice. And what mic was that you're running?
I'm using a $40 Amazon special newer condenser mic. Roger.
Yes, sir, electret condenser mic. Roger, that's just beautiful. And, like I say, you can do really El Cheapo condenser mic and just do fine with that top-end articulation. So I think you're good to go. Your dynamic range is where it should be. Your equalization curve is nice. So I would say sally forth and see who salutes.
Sally forth and see who salutes.
Roger that, Jim. Roger. Yeah, I just have to get a little used to not speaking so close to the microphone. Usually I'm talking like this, and I think that's might be my problem. I have to stay at least 4 fingers away from the microphone there and just speak in a normal tone. Roger, did you hear the difference between that?
No, and I saw no difference. And that's why that compressor is in there at a 3, because that helps to minimize your your proximity to microphone, and it does exactly what that needs to be done. I would say come back and let me hear you at 3 inches. Come back and talk to me for just a minute at 3 inches, Roger.
Talk to me for just a minute at 3 inches, Roger.
Okay. This is about 3 inches away from the microphone, speaking a normal voice here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll copy. Over.
Yes, sir, Mike. And just be sure that your monitor, you're not running any kind of monitor or earphones or stuff like that. Because what happens is whenever you run a kind of the monitor feature or the earphones, you always have blow-by and leakage. And that leakage starts to make the audio not sound as good as it can. So I never have an open monitor in transmit, Roger.
Monitor in transmit, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, I did have the monitor feature on. I have now disengaged the monitor feature. So hopefully I'm not having any leakage at this time here, Roger.
Car, clean as a tack, and just run her that way, Roger.
Clean as a tack, and just run her that way, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, it's a little difficult sometimes. I'll try and with the monitor, at least you're not yelling into the microphone. When you have a full headset on, you have a tendency of yelling a little bit more because you can't hear the outside ambiance, as we would say. So especially in the nighttime when I'm making some calls there. But I thank you much, Jim, for your time and your effort. And I'll hand it back to you, and maybe you can help some more hams out there with their setups. And I appreciate your time and effort there, Roger.
Roger, Mike. I have found, I don't use headsets because I just, it makes me too conscious of my voice. I just would rather just sit here and talk. And hopefully, with that beautiful radio and that beautiful audio, you will feel the same, at 3 inches there. Just the thing is to try and stay distance-wise the same to that microphone. And there was a game we play where we bring up the output meter of your radio, and it's kind of, as you talk, it kind of swings like a VU meter. And what we want to do is try to keep that meter up into the sweet spot by our voice. And so we develop, as we look at it as we speak, we develop a mental relationship between ourselves and that meter and our voice, to try to use our voice to keep that meter up at the sweet spot all the time, Roger?
Meter up at the sweet spot all the time, Roger?
Roger. I definitely will keep a mental note of that. And I appreciate your time, Jim. And I'll pass it back to you and say 7-3. KC9, I forgot to call. Excuse me for that. But anyway, take care, Jim. This is KD2SXD. I'll be clear.
Roger. Mike 73 that way, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Give me a shout.
KB9MZK Kilo Delta 8 Victor November.
All right, KB9 I believe it is. KB9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
KB9 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Okay, it's my name is David, and I'm located in Pennsylvania, and my call is Kilo Bravo 9 Mike Z Kilo.
Mike Z Kilo, Roger. And David, what radio are you running today, sir?
Z Kilo, Roger. And David, what radio are you running today, sir?
Okay, I am running the 1200.
FTDX 1200?
FTDX 1200?
Oh, yes, sir. That's right, the FDX. It's the Yaesu.
Roger. Okay, sir, give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
Roger. Okay, sir, give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, my antenna system is an NSET, and it's up about 50 feet, and that's about it.
Roger, it looks pretty good. Just to review your settings, you have your compressor on at a 3. Is that a Roger?
Settings, you have your compressor on at a 3. Is that a Roger?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, and then we move to your ALC with mic gain in hand and speaking rather quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, so we can get the meter up there to see where it is. We want to adjust that ALC meter for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Adjust that ALC meter for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Okay.
David, where'd you go, sir?
Okay, it's right there.
David, where'd you go, sir?
Oh, sorry, it's right there.
All right, so the ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3 on peaks. Roger?
All right, so the ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3 on peaks. Roger?
Yes, sir.
All right, now do you know where your onboard EQ, your onboard equalization is?
Now, do you know where your onboard EQ, your onboard equalization is?
It's a 3. A 3.
All right, first let's define what kind of an equalizer it is. Do you have 3 controls, a treble, mid-range, and bass control, or what?
A treble, mid-range, and bass control, or what?
It's just my equalizer is it's three stage, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you have a treble EQ, you have a bass EQ, and then you have a mid-range EQ. Is that a Roger?
You have a bass EQ, and then you have a mid-range EQ. Is that a Roger?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the reading on your mid-range EQ? What is the reading on your mid-range EQ? Is it flat, cut, or boost?
What is the reading on your mid-range EQ? Is it flat, cut, or boost?
It's flat.
Yes, sir. Okay, now let's move to your treble EQ. What is the reading on your treble EQ?
Now let's move to your treble EQ. What is the reading on your treble EQ?
Oh boy. I just had a stroke, so I'm not really getting it, but okay.
Okay, David, I'll tell you what, why don't you get a pencil and paper, or pen and pencil, and I'll give you a couple of notes, and you can follow up at your leisure. Roger?
A couple of notes, and you can follow up at your leisure. Roger?
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't read any longer.
Roger, David, you're kind of fading out there. I did not hear that last, but I'll give you just a couple of notes here. One note, matter of fact. Everything is fine. You just need a little more top-end EQ on your audio. So I would say advance your treble EQ 2 clicks from where it is. In other words, +2 from where it currently is, and that should help out a lot on your audio articulation. +2 treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
Articulation. +2 treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
Okay. I thank you very much. Thank you again. KC9VKV.
Roger, David. Everything else is just perfect with that radio. Just absolutely perfect. And you're actually pretty close right now, but that +2 treble EQ additional will give you a little more edge to your audio, and that will really help out. 73, David, and if you would like to hear your recording, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 12/19/21, that will take you to this recording, and you'll be able to hear your radio. 73, David. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
There was about 4 stations in there. Loudest one, come by and try it again.
Stations in there. Loudest one, come by and try it again.
Victor Alpha 3, Japan Tango. Alpha, November.
All right, there's a Victor Alpha 3 station. A Victor Alpha 3 station out there. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign, please.
Out there. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign, please.
KC9 Victor Kilo Victor. This is Victoria America 3, Japan Tango. Victor Alpha 3, Juliet Tango. Mike, Jim, over.
Roger, JT, what's the name there, please, sir?
Roger, JT, what's the name there, please, sir?
Jim, same as yourself.
Yes, sir, Jim. We talked last week. Is that a Roger?
Yes, sir, Jim. We talked last week. Is that a Roger?
That's a Roger, Roger.
Yes, sir. Well, you sounded mighty good there. That radio is, we discussed it before. It's just slightly high in frequency. And I guess you have checked your clarifier to be sure the clarifier is at 000 or off. And the radio is just a tad high. Roger?
Or off. And the radio is just a tad high. Roger?
Okay, I spent the whole week trying to fix it, Jim. WA2DVU, KC9VKV, Victor Alpha 3, Japan Tango. I did everything. I took the whole rig apart, set up the voltages, and I just did what you told me to do. If it doesn't work, I'll have to go back inside, Jim. Over.
Probably not worth the squeeze. I would just leave it like it is. So it's close enough. I can hear you clearly, and so it has nothing to do with the intelligibility. It's just me nitpicking, Roger.
The intelligibility, it's just me nitpicking, Roger.
Everyone's going to afford a 1,500-watt amplifier.
Look, did you know that the first 600 watts often makes a difference between getting through and being buried in the noise? Ameritron's AL811 and AL811H linear amplifiers.
I don't know, gentleman doesn't realize the frequencies in use.
I don't know, gentleman doesn't realize the frequencies in use.
Into your station, you can immediately plug into the nearest 120-volt AC outlet, or...
And I'll check.
Sir, the frequency is in use. Frequency is in use. This is the QSO-VLOG net for Friday afternoon. Right now, KC9VKV in QSO with VA3JT. Jim, go ahead, Jim.
QSO with VA3JT. Jim, go ahead, Jim.
Okay, I just hit the frequency by mistake, Jim. KC9VKV, Victor Alpha 3, Japan Tango.
Yes, sir, Jim. Right here, sir.
Yes, sir, Jim. Right here, sir.
Okay, no, I won't hold you. I'll let you get on to other people that are a little more stronger. I took all your advice. I'm very happy with it. The rig has come back to life. The only thing is that it's at its age, and I'm the same age, 77. We're both drifting in the same direction, Jim. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, you're going to have to get in line, partner. We're all in the same boat. Roger?
And partner, we're all in the same boat. Roger?
Jim, age-wise, we're all in the same boat. Roger, Roger?
Jim, age-wise, we're all in the same boat. Roger, Roger?
That's for sure. That's for sure. But to conclude, Jim, I've taken all your advice. I greatly appreciate it. I wouldn't have known what to do or how to do it, all the way from the ALC to whatever you want to call it. And everything is working fine. I'm working DX like crazy. South America, South Africa, Europe. And I don't know how to say thanks. All I can say is from the bottom of my heart, Doctor, thank you very much. And I'm going to just leave it as it is. And within the next couple of weeks, when the birthday comes up, I expect to see a 7300, Jim. Over.
Roger, Roger. Your dynamic range is just perfect, 3 dB. So your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%, Reverend.
Modulation is 80 to 85%, Reverend.
Roger, roger.
73, Reverend. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, and you have a real good afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
The QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Somebody on my local antenna, come back and try it again, please. Station in St. Louis. Come back one more time, slowly, phonetically, with your call sign.
Kilo, Foxtrot 0, Alpha, November, Tango, John and St. Louis. Kilo 0, Mike Oscar.
I get you a Kilo Foxtrot 0, and what was the rest of that?
Alpha, November, Tango, sir.
Alpha, November, Tango. Roger, roger. And what's the name there, please?
John, Julia, Oscar, Hotel, November.
Roger, John. And what radio are you running, sir?
It's Flex 6600.
Okay, John, we need to probably the first thing, we got the setup is a normal procedure, but let me go to your EQ first because I'm having difficulty in understanding you, and it's mainly because of your EQ. You've got a lot of bottom end there. So what we need to do you know where your onboard equalization is?
Yes, sir, I do. Go ahead.
All right. What is your bottom end EQ? What is your bottom end EQ setting at the moment?
Well, if 63 hertz is at 2, I'm going to drop that down to negative 10. 125 is at 1. I'll drop that down to negative 10. Does that make a difference?
I think we're headed in the right direction. Now, what I want you to do is we're going to go back to the normal setup procedure, and that would be to engage your compressor at a 3. Engage your compressor at a 3, Roger. Sorry, John, I missed that last. Try repeating your last transmission again, please.
I'm not 100% certain on how to adjust the compressor. Well, give me 1 second.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's hold on the compressor. Let's move to your ALC. Do you know how to bring your ALC meter up? And with your mic gain in hand, and speaking rather rapidly, 100, 200, 300, so you can see where your ALC is, adjust that ALC for mid-scale to 2/3 operation, Roger? This is KC9VKV, KF0 ANT. Do you copy? KF0 ANT, this is KC9VKV. Do you copy? John, you might have gone too far, too far on your mic gain control. Turn your mic gain up about 20% from where it is.
How about that? Sorry, had a quality.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Now, you know where your ALC is, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, with looking at your ALC with your mic gain in hand, you hit transmit and speak 100, 200, 300, 400 to bring the meter up, and then adjust that level, your voice level, by manipulation of the mic gain control to where the ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3. Roger? And of course, John, you would do that in transmit. Hit transmit and speak like you normally would, and adjust that level on your ALC to mid-scale to 2/3.
Roger. moving it up to 2/3 as we speak.
You are running at 2/3 as we speak?
Sounds better.
I didn't copy that last, John. Try again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think we're losing the signal, John. So let me just review very quickly before I fade out, and you will at least have notes that you can work on at your leisure. The setup procedure is engage your compressor at a 3. Engage the compressor at a 3. Then move to your AOC with mic gain in hand. And as you speak rather quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to bring the AOC meter up, adjust it with your mic gain to where the AOC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. And then we should be done with the most of the setup procedure. Then it's a matter of EQ, and I think we've made a couple of corrections there already. Roger.
Roger. Appreciate the help.
He said he did it, and he appreciates.
Thank you, sir. I can copy him. Thank you much, though. John, so I had a pretty good copy of that last transmission, sir.
Yeah, are you copying better now?
Yes, sir. I've got a better copy on you now than I had no copy on you there for a minute. I didn't know whether you were copying me or not. But I've got a good copy pretty much so on you now, Roger.
Roger.
So did you manage to copy the notes to self?
Yeah, I got it, and I'll check out the YouTube and have a listen as well, man.
Yes, sir, Gag. You need to, you're still pretty thin. We're looking for a 3 dB dynamic range, which would occur when you make those adjustments as I described. So you're just not there quite yet, but, you know, I'm sure when you have a moment to look at it and work with it, you'll get it there. And then check back Friday and we'll compare notes and see what's happening. Roger? So 73, John, and again, to hear this recording, you go to YouTube, do a call to search KC9VKV, along with today's date, 2/19/21. That will take you to this recording. 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. There's somebody very distorted. I got the WB8. I want to talk to you, sir, but I want to talk to this other person that's extremely distorted first. So whoever else was in there, come back and try it again.
You've got too much bass in your audio.
Sir, this is a controlled net. Did not solicit your comment, please. The other station that was calling, come back and try it again.
Whiskey 9, Victor, Papa Radio.
There's a Whiskey 9 station. I'm not sure if you were the one that was really distorted, but let's go with you for right now. Whiskey 9 station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Whiskey 9, Victor, Papa Radio.
Whiskey 9, Victor, Papa, what was the rest?
Radio.
Roger, Whiskey 9 station, and what's your name?
The name is Harry, Hotel Alpha, Romeo Yankee. And I am located in South Carolina, QSL.
Roger, Harry, and what radio are you running, sir?
Okay, I have an old Kenwood 440.
440, Roger. All right, sir, if you would give me 10 seconds on your antenna setup and let me hear your audio.
It is a in-fed multi-band dipole in a sloping arrangement. The top end is about 50 feet up. The bottom end is about 6 feet. QSL?
Roger, Harry. Now, gosh, I'm hearing your breathing. Your breathing is as loud as your voice. So if you would, let's go through our setup procedure and see what we have at the end. What we want to do is engage your compressor, but only at a 3. Engage your compressor, turn it on, but only at a 3. Roger?
I understand the compressor. I don't know how to change the settings on it.
Yes, sir. Do you have a book?
No, sir, I don't. But I guess I can go online and get one.
Yes, sir. Or you can Google it. But I tell you what, give me a dead key for 3 seconds and let me hear you.
1, 2, 3,
No, I'm just looking for a dead key. Do not speak, just key 3 seconds, Roger.
What we want to do is engage your compressor, but only at a 3.
Okay, I could not hear the compressor, so I'm assuming that it's not pumping up too badly. What you need to do now is go to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak rather quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you can see where your ALC meter is, adjust it for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
So you can see where your ALC meter is, adjust it for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Please, don't need that stuff. Grow up. This is KC9VKV in QSO with W9VPR. Harry in South Carolina. Roger, Roger.
So you can see where your ALC meter is, adjust it for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Roger, Roger.
All right, and so go ahead and do that. I don't think you did that yet.
So you can see where your ALC
my
meter
problem
is,
is I don't have a knob that says ALC on it. That says ALC on it. So I don't know how to adjust it. Over.
All right, Harry, let me give you some notes, buddy, and then you can find out how to operate your radio and crank those numbers in. First thing is engage your compressor at a 3. Engage your compressor at a 3. Then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak rather quickly, adjust 100, 200, 300. Adjust the ALC by way of mic gain control to where it's reading mid-scale to 2/3. Roger, Roger.
Control to where it's reading mid-scale to 2/3. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger.
All right, and then it would be a matter of EQ, and I think your EQ is close enough for right now to be able to do that and be in pretty good shape. And then you can drop by next Friday, and we'll take a listen to you. And in between time, if you want to hear your audio on this recording, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date, 2/19/21, it will take you directly to this recording. Roger.
2/19/21. We'll take you directly to this recording, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, Harry. 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shot.
Afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shot.
WB8, WCM for Oscar Delta.
There's a WB8 station. Come back slowly phonetically with the call sign.
B8 station. Come back slowly phonetically with the call sign.
Okay, Jim. This is Whiskey Bravo 8, Whiskey Charlie Mike.
Whiskey Charlie Mike, Roger, and what's the name?
Whiskey Charlie Mike, Roger, and what's the name?
The name here is Ron. QTH is Brunswick, Georgia.
Roger, Ron. And give me what radio are you running, sir?
Roger, Ron. And give me what radio are you running, sir?
Yeah, Jim, today I'm running my Yaesu FT2000, running into an SB220, running about 1,000 watts.
Yes, sir, and I just went to the my Georgia SDR, and I've got you about 20 over. So if you're interested in our setup procedure for your transmitter, it starts with engaging your compressor at a 3, Roger?
With engaging your compressor at a 3, Roger?
Yes, I have it at 30%.
Yes, sir. Now move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak rather quickly, 100, 200, 300, to bring your ALC meter up where you can see where it is, adjust it for mid-scale to 2/3 reflection, Roger?
For mid-scale to 2/3 reflection, Roger?
Roger, Roger. 101, 102, 103, 104.
Roger, and that looks to be about a mid-scale to 2/3?
Looks to be about a mid-scale to 2/3. Rather quickly, 100, 200, 300, to bring your ALC meter up where you can see where it is. Adjust it.
We have a lot of traffic there, Ron. Deliberate QRM interference. We got them, unfortunately. But once you have all of that, why don't you give me now 10 seconds about your antenna situation, and let me hear your audio.
Let me hear your audio.
Okay, Jim. Now the antenna here is a inverted V coaxial dipole. I guess you can call it a double bazooka made out of coax. It's up about 50 feet. in a configuration of inverted V. Over.
Yes, sir. Now, do you know where your onboard EQ is?
Do you know where your onboard EQ is?
Yeah, it's yeah, I know where it's at. I'm in it right now. This has a they call it a three-stage parametric equalizer. So I'm not really familiar with it, but let's give it a try.
Okay, before we do that, just be sure that your radio is operating in the 100 to 2900 bandpass. That radio, you should operate that radio in the 100 to 2900 bandpass. Roger?
In the 100 to 2900 bandpass. Roger?
Roger, Jim, I believe that's where I have it.
It sounds like it. Okay, now on your EQ, what we want to do is take Treble EQ +2 from where it is. Advance your Treble EQ 2 clicks hotter than where it is.
EQ 2 clicks hotter than where it is.
That's where I run into trouble. I got the manual out here in front of me, and it's a little confusing. It's got two sets of settings, one with processor on and one with the processor off, and I've got the processor on, and it just says center frequency, parametric gain, and bandwidth, and I'm not sure which one we want to address.
Okay, what we want to address is the push, not the curve. That's a parametric EQ. So we want to leave the shape of the parametric EQ the same. Do not do that when it's the cutter boost control that we want to take +2, intensify the treble EQ. Roger?
Intensify the treble EQ. Roger?
I understand what you're saying. I just can't relate that to what I'm seeing in my book. I got these menu settings I have to go to, and there are a bunch of them. And the bandwidth, the Q, I think you're talking about the mid, and I can go there. Is that what you're talking about?
No. I'll tell you what, Ron, you're probably close enough. You're articulate. You're well understood. So I don't think you really need that. Maybe at a later time we can put. What I'm looking for is just a little bit more top-end edge to your audio. But that's a nitpicking thing. You are close enough, probably where you are. Roger.
Are close enough, probably where you are. Roger.
Well, Roger, Jim. I've got everything set to the recommended settings. I'm still learning, and I will continue maybe next time. And what we're talking about here, I'll play around with it. But thanks for your comments, and I try to listen to you every Friday, and we'll be here next week.
Yes, sir. Well, I would give you that final note that if you find out how to increase your treble EQ push, we want 2 clicks more push from where it is. 2 clicks more push on your treble EQ. You can leave your parametric part where it is. We just want the intensity to be a little bit greater. And that would be something that you can find out in your book as you go through it at your leisure. No big major thing. Roger?
At your leisure. No big major thing. Roger?
Roger. We'll hopefully... I appreciate your patience with me. I'm still learning about this radio, and I'm looking forward to get a complete understanding if that's possible. Jim, carry on. I listen to you every week. I enjoy what you've got to say, and I appreciate it. And carry on. This is Whiskey Bravo 8, Whiskey Charlie Mike.
Roger, Ron, and like I say, if you want to hear your nice audio sound, I think, even though we don't have that exact top end I'm looking for, but if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our, along with today's date. You have to do the call sign along with today's date, 2/19/21, and that will take you directly to this recording. 73, Ron. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
W4 Japan, Papa Delta.
W4 Japan, Papa Delta. I always know the call sign, but what's the name?
What's the name?
Yeah,
Yeah, Jim, good afternoon. Good to talk to you again. The name is Pete. Pete's the name. We're down near Charlotte, and trying out a new microphone here on a Kenwood 890, so seems to be a QSB, and I heard you earlier talk about your high noise level, so I hope you're able to copy okay. Anyway, back to you. KC9 Victor, Kilowatt Victor from W4 Japan, Papa Delta.
Roger. Well, you know what I did, Pete? I said, I got to get rid of that noise blank. Noise blank just introduces too much distortion. I'm sorry if I've got 40 over S9 impulse noise from snow on the line. I cannot stand the distortion that a noise blank adds. So I turn my noise blank off, and thank goodness right now I have no noise, and I have just a beautiful copy on you on my local antenna. And looking at my spectrum analyzer, it is just flat across the board, all the way from 3 KC down to 25 cycles down in that range. You still have activity. So just a beautiful audio curve and balanced, Roger.
Oh, great. Well, you know, it looks like that on my audio scope as well. The radio, as I said, is fairly new, and as I said, I was trying out a different mic, and so I appreciate that report. I really do. But listen, I don't want to hold you. I know you got probably a lineup of people there, but great to hear you, Jim, and I hope all is well, and you got your shots, and things are going okay. KC9 Victor, Kilowatt Victor, W4 JPD.
Roger, the shots of Roma. No, the virus shots, Roger, I understand. Well, anyway, if you want to see that curve, Pete, if you go to YouTube and do a call data search, KC9VKV, along with today's date, 2/19/21, that will take you directly to this recording. And as you view our meter, there's 3 marks. There's a white mark on the left side, and that is the 100 cycle mark, and then there's 2 marks on the right side of our spectrum analyzer, and the first mark, white mark on the right side, is 1 KC. Then there's a blank space, which is 2 KC, and then there is a second white mark, which is 4 KC for FYI, Roger.
Okay, great. Well, I noted that, and I'll take a look later next week. So 7-3, and thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Over.
Roger, Pete, always a pleasure, sir. 73 that way, and great sound as normal. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. Gosh, we're headed towards Pumpkin Land at 5, but we've got room for maybe a couple of more radios. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo 4 Golf Echo November.
Kilo 4 Golf Station. Come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Okay, it's Kilo 4 Golf Echo November. Copy.
Roger that. And what's the name?
His name is Brian.
Roger, Brian, B-R-I-A-N, is that correct?
There you go, you got it.
Yes, sir, Brian, and what's your location, sir?
It's northern South Carolina, 35 miles south of Charlotte, North Carolina, but I'm in South Carolina.
Roger that, and what radio are you running?
ICOM 7300, SM30, Decimite.
Roger. Okay, just to review some of the settings on our generic setup, your compressor's engaged at a 3. Is that a Roger?
Jim, I'm at a 2 now with 20% mic gain.
All right, I would go to a 3. Advance your compressor to a 3. Roger.
All right, there you go on a 3, Jim. Still 20% on the mic gain.
Okay, okay, that mic is, what mic is that?
It's the ICOM SM30.
Okay, that's a desk mic, Roger?
That's right.
That's a condenser desk mic, Roger?
There you go.
Yes, sir. Okay, you need to get a windscreen for that mic, because I have heard 3 or 4 transients that we don't want. So at your leisure, nothing major, but get a foam windscreen for that microphone, Roger?
And Jim, is that windscreen, does that look like a little sock, or has it got actual a mounting system on the end of the mic.
No, it's just a foam sock that slips over your microphone. You know, just tell them what kind of mic you have, and they will have the mic foam windscreen size that will fit that. Roger.
Okay, and I think you helped me set up before, and we had just about the same thing. So, but yeah, about 400 watts, and that's about the story on this one. I got transmit bandwidth wide.
Yes, sir, and then move to your ALC. And as you speak rather quickly, 100, 200, 300, with a mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC, double-check your ALC level at mid-scale to 2/3.
It's at about a mid-scale to 2/3 now.
Roger that. Well, I think your EQ curve sounds fine, and everything looks good to go, Roger.
All right, thank you, Jim. Hey, I was going on YouTube, and I couldn't get the date up. I've got the KC9 Victor, Kilo Victor, but not today. I just typed in the window up there to listen to everybody else, and when I put the 1921 in, it didn't seem to make a difference.
Mainly because I haven't uploaded today. The only thing uploaded, is last week and past, Roger. Give me 48 hours to get this one uploaded, Roger.
Okay, Jim, that makes sense. I remember that now from the last time. Thank you, and thank you for your help. 7-3, K4GEN.
Roger, Brian, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And, gosh, we're even closer to becoming a pumpkin, so room for one more. Maybe if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. There's a something Lima station. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, sir.
Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, sir.
Kilo 0, Mike Oscar, K0MO.
All right, I got Kilo 0. Again, phonetically slowly, the full call sign, Roger.
Again, phonetically slowly, the full call sign, Roger.
Yes, Jim. Kilo 0, Mike Oscar, Kilo 0MO.
Kilo 0, M-O, Roger, and what's the name there, sir?
Kilo 0, M-O, Roger, and what's the name there, sir?
Yes, the name is Manny, M-A-N-N-Y. I'm in Florida, in Port St. Lucie, East Coast, over.
Yes, sir, Manny, I remember speaking to you last week, Roger.
Yes, sir, Manny, I remember speaking to you last week, Roger.
Really? Anyways, glad to hear you on the air, over.
Yes, sir, I'm copying you on the Georgia SDR. And what radio was that you are running today, sir?
What radio was that you are running today, sir?
Okay, I am running an Apache Labs Anan SDR radio, over.
Anan, and what's the number?
Anan, and what's the number?
The Anan 7000 DLE, over.
Okay, just give me the numbers, please.
Okay, just give me the numbers, please.
Yes, sure. It's the Anan 7000 DLE.
Anan 7000 DLE, Roger.
Anan 7000 DLE, Roger.
All right, now, Manny, give me, are we setting this radio up, or what would you want to do with it?
Setting this radio up, or what would you want to do with it?
Yes, I just try a new microphone with it. It's a Heil PR40, so I wonder how it sounds. So I was trying different transmit profiles with it, different settings, so I don't know how do you hear it, how it sounds, over?
Yes, sir, Manny. Well, let me tell you, anytime you change a microphone, you go back to your ALC and double-check your ALC level, because all mics are different. So every time you change your mic, go back to your ALC and make sure it's running mid-scale to 2/3. But what I'd like to do is just review some of the other settings, if you wouldn't mind, and that would be that your compressor is engaged at a 3. Is that a Roger?
At a 3, is that a Roger?
Yes, indeed. It's actually, I'm using it at 6 dBs, over.
Roger. Well, you can do that, but it's not going to help any more than at a 3. The only thing is it sucks up between the words, and you hear the guy next door beating his wife, between the words. So a 3 would do very nicely and just be just as full. Roger?
And just be just as full. Roger?
Okay, very good. So let's see. I'm setting it now to 3 dB. Yes, I like to have about 95% modulation. So right now it will be like 85%. Over.
All right, your compressor is at a 3. Then we move to your ALC. And normally we would want to do that at mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain manipulation would give you 80 to 85%. Now you can get hotter, you can get harder, but the problem is you start condensing even further your dynamic range on your words. And the thing is that enunciation, understanding words is a accumulation of a lot of different things, the articulation of the audio, but another factor is the dynamic word shaping. In other words, if you continue to collapse the dynamic range and you get, say, to 1% or 1% of the dynamic range, then the word has no dynamic range, no breath, no breathe. It's just a blur, and blurs are not easily understood. So it takes a certain amount of dynamics in the word to be able to understand it. And I have found that a 3 dB dynamic range really is the absolute best point as far as being able to hear the word loudly, but still be able to understand what the word is. If you hear the word but you can't understand what it is, you're useless, Roger.
You're useless, Roger.
Yes, understand. I actually using the broadcasting standard, which is, as you know, 6 dB. So I roll it back to 3 dBs. How you hear me now? Over.
Yes, sir. That's much better. Like I say, words have to have a certain amount of life to be able to understand what they are. Now, I can give you an example. Say the 7610 has an interesting device called Drive, and you get to drive through quick on the 7610 front end. And Drive, what that does, it is just has the ability to increase the modulation level. And normally that drive is set at 50% on the 7610, but it can be turned up. I usually turn it up, have people turned up to about a 60, but we did an experiment one afternoon where we took that drive up to 100%. And at 100% drive on the 7610, words no longer have dynamic range. Yes, they do have dynamic range, but it's only like half a dB of dynamic range. So I'm sitting and looking at this guy's audio on my VU meter, and my VU meter is not bouncing around like a normal VU meter would. It's just hung up there and quivering, kind of like a plate voltmeter on a transmitter. That's how much what happens when you hit half a dB of dynamic range. And the word just becomes a blur, and it's very difficult to understand with that much modulation what the words are. So what our goal is to get the words to the person that's listening in the best form, and that is back off that modulation to where you have a 3 dB dynamic range, and it's very nice. The audio can be a contest or QSO quality depending on what you want to do with it. So you have complete flexibility, you have no distortion, you're well below splatter, and everything is copacetic, and you don't have people coming looking for you with pitchforks. Roger?
People coming looking for you with pitchforks. Roger?
Yes, it's true, yes, of course, indeed. How you hear me now? I put it on 3 dB, over?
Yes, sir, excellent. I would leave it, I would run it just like that, sir. You are splendid. Roger?
Like that, sir. You are splendid. Roger?
Okay. Thank you very much, Jim. I watch your videos on YouTube, and I really admire all you do for others, with the audio report. I also like to
help people, no, with the audio when there's the occasion that somebody needs help. So I really appreciate that, Jim. Really nice of you. Over.
Thank you, Manny, ever so much, and thanks for checking in. And we appreciate your signal and the QSO. And again, you know how to get there if you want to hear your audio. You're right on target now. So if you want to hear it, KC9VKV on the YouTube search, followed by today's date, 2/19/21. I did not say that very well. It's KC9VKV followed by today's date, 2/19/21 on the YouTube search. Roger.
2/19/21 on the YouTube search. Roger.
Very good, very good. I will watch it. So I don't see any uploads right now. So when are you going to upload this video? Over.
Yes, sir. We'll have it uploaded within 48 hours. We usually give ourselves 48 hours to get it up to YouTube. We usually get there a lot sooner, but our outside time is 48 hours. Roger.
Outside time is 48 hours. Roger.
Okay, Roger. Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate your report and your help. I hope to see you again soon. KC9VKV from K0MO73, my friend.
Roger, Manny, and you're at least 15 over on my meter. I run a very low RF front end just to keep it out of AGC compression, and but I am looking at your audio and the output of the radio audio on a VU meter, and when you cease speaking, I have your voice peaks calibrated to 0 level, and when you cease speaking, it falls down and reads my noise level, and it was minus 15, so just a great signal. 73, Manny. We'll catch you next week if you get a chance. Well, gosh, there it is, up by the clock on the wall, a dead fly. No, it's 6 minutes past 5, so we have turned into a pumpkin quite a while ago. We've got to get out of here. We've enjoyed it. If so, you have also, I hope. And again, to be able to find today's recording, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 2/19/21, that will take you to this recording directly. If you just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that will take you to our YouTube QSO-VLOG page, where we're now running over 1,500 recorded QSO vlogs. So anyway, we got to get out of here and say 73, everyone. This is KC9VKV returning the frequency to normal average amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV clear.
KC9VKV clear.
Hello from Toronto, VA3VMD, long time. I'm not sure if you're copying me or not. VA3VMD, Toronto.
Station in Toronto, try it again.
Station in Toronto, try it again.
Vito, VA3VMD up in Toronto. Just wanted to say hello before you slip out, Roger.
Roger, Vito. I'm copying you on the Arlington, Virginia SDR. I don't know why you're not on Milford, but anyway, I'm copying you. It looks to be about 10 over on Arlington, Roger.
10 over on Arlington, Roger.
Yeah, very good, Jim. I haven't been in here the last few Fridays. Been doing a lot of house project work and keeping myself a little bit busy with all this COVID. Stimulate the brain and the mind and the physicality a little bit. So I haven't jumped in too many Fridays there. I heard you in there. I just thought I'd say a quick hello. Salutations from north of the border, my friend.
Yes, sir. I just ambled back to my local antenna. You're about 15 over on my local antenna. You have frequency response activity down to 25 cycles, sir.
Okay, very good, Jim. Well, that's the RE20 and the UR6QW EQ on the 7300, putting a little bit of that FM bottom end, Roger.
Yes, sir, and you have plenty of top end, just a beautiful balance, Roger.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jim. Yeah, we take a little bit of pride in, you know as well as I know, you don't really need too much with the 7300. You could go with that stock mic and sound fantastic, and we all know that. And again, the only reason why I played around a little bit is because we had the time on our hands. But if I didn't have anything else but that stock mic, I'd be fine and dandy, Jim. It's just a little bit of playing around. You know what it's like.
Oh, Roger. Now I did catch one plosive in there. Did catch one plosive. So you are running a foam windscreen, Roger?
Actually, you know what, Jim? I actually had it off because I was washing it, so I'm not using one right now on the RE20.
Yes, sir, but you have one. I know that. I just heard it in there, and I want to make sure, Roger.
Yeah. Very good, my friend. Absolutely. Yep. Very good. How are things on your end, neck of the woods? Is everything okay? How's the weather and all that other funky stuff? You guys cold, warm? What's going on over there?
Too much snow. I've got, for some reason around this area, when we get snow and ice, I start getting a lot of power line impulse noise. I mean, it just drives me crazy, and I know there's nothing I can do until, the temperature rises and things melt off. And I, in order to copy any of the mail, I had been earlier today running my noise blank. And noise blanks are fine, and normal communications noise blanks do well, but, they do introduce a certain amount of distortion. There's no way around it because of the way they work. So just about 20 minutes ago, I decided, well, I can't live with this anymore. And I've been relying mostly on my internet SDR antennas and not using my local antenna because of this impulse noise. But anyway, I just took noise blank off, and for right now, the impulse noise does not exist. So your transmissions, the audio is just perfect without that noise blank, Roger.
Yeah, very good, Jim. Yeah, whereabouts are you again? You're in Indiana, right?
Yes, sir. We're hop, skip, and a jump from Louisville. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. I can see downtown Louisville from here.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful city. I hope things kind of calm down there. I know there was some not too nice things happening down there, but me and my wife, we passed through Louisville a couple of times, had some nice dinners on the main strip there, and visited the Louisville Slugger Museum there, and had a nice afternoon in Louisville. We passed through there a number of times. The bridge coming in from Kentucky into Ohio is also a nice, beautiful drive heading back home as well. So, well, I'm surprised. Do you guys normally get, a lot of snow? We've actually been very good here in Toronto this year. I mean, we did get a bit of snow last couple of nights, but up till the early part of February, we haven't had really a lot of snow, to be honest with you. We pretty much had a clear up to Christmas. We had a couple of snowfalls, Jim, but nothing like what they got out east and whatnot. But so we've been kind of lucky this year over here north of the border.
Roger that. Well, we don't usually have enough of an accumulation to hang on. It just we might have a day or two of it, and then it's melted off. But this particular batch has just been piling on, and so I do have maybe 6 inches of a combination of snow and ice in my front yard there, and it looks like it's going to be there for another couple of days at least. I've got a little antenna project that I've had to put on hold for over a week and a half. I've got a collinear ground plane antenna for UHF-VHF on a 10-foot pole pipe, and it's just resting up against the house at a 45-degree angle. I've got another 10-foot section that it's going to slip into, but I've got 4 inches of snow and ice on the roof, and I just can't get there from here at the moment, Roger.
Yeah, well, you know what I always say, Jim? I love leaving antenna projects till the summer where I can have my running shoes on, my shorts, a nice cold beer on the deck, and playing with wires and poles. What do you think?
Roger. Well, I gave up tower climbing last summer. I lost a shoe at the top ring on a 50-foot tower, and so I had to climb down without one shoe, and it was very, very painful. And I decided that I no longer needed to go all the way to the top. Roger?
Yeah, you know what, Jim? I think it's time that we let the younger ones climb for us. I'm probably a few years your junior still, and you know my end-fed antenna's up at about 35 feet off a mast up on the chimney. It's pretty much the center of the roof, just off to the side because I have a fireplace pretty much in the center of the home, so the chimney's kind of up higher, you know, than you would normally find it if it was, you know, a chimney off the side of the house or whatnot. But the first couple of times I get up on the roof, I got to kind of watch myself, and then I kind of get acclimatized to the environment. But I'm starting to get a little more comfortable as the years go by, and you know, so I just keep my fingers crossed, no antenna problem.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I was 60 before I ever used a climbing belt. I never used a climbing belt as a younger person. I would climb up, and I would put one foot on the rung, and I would wrap the other foot around the tower, and I would proceed to work there for half an hour until, you know, one time when I was up there, gosh, it took a little bit longer. It took about 45 minutes, and I realized that I was extremely tired at that point, and it was it was a slow process coming down. I did make it down, but then I just decided that from here on out I would use a climbing belt, and climbing belts make things so much easier. It just takes all the pressure off, and you could probably work with a climbing belt for a couple of hours. I could back then anyway, Roger.
Yeah, well, the other thing, Jim, is you never know, right? If you black out or you're not feeling well or, something happens. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that sometimes, but just think about if you're halfway up a tower or three-quarters up way the tower and your head starts spinning or, you got vertigo or something stupid happens. I mean, it could be a very serious issue. It's one thing to say, hey, I'm fit and I feel great and I can do it, but you got to be careful because you never know. I mean, I've had instances where, I'd be working away, even cutting the grass sometimes, and I'd get a bout of vertigo, or my head would spin for a couple of seconds. Just the sun exhaustion, whatever. So you got to be really careful. You know what I really like working in, Jim, is the buckets. I've done a lot of work with the zoom booms. Like I've done some solar work where we've had 50-foot zoom booms. And you know how nice it would be to work on antenna when you're in a nice little bucket, man, control your position and swing it around. The problem is they're very expensive.
Oh, yeah, Roger. And I never had that kind of bread for a hobby. So I would just do it. And, as a younger person, I never even thought about any kind of problem. I never had any dizziness. Excuse me, I never had any vertigo or nothing, It was just concentrating on getting the job done, and excuse me. So, and then I would always have plenty of energy after I got the job done to come down, But as you get older, things start to change, and so, like I said, I think now I've pretty much written tower climbing off. About the highest I get is about 2 rungs on the tower from off of the roof, about 15 feet off the roof, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, yeah, very good, yeah. Well, the important thing is, and, to be careful, and if possible, always have somebody with you spotting you and whatnot. That's the most, that's the most important thing. So, safety first, as they say, and everything else comes after that. But I had the pleasure of being able to work, doing some solar projects and that. And you're right. I mean, renting one of those buckets here in Toronto costs like $700 a day. So you can buy a couple of antennas, a couple of towers, and some beams for that price. But it is a great way to be able to do it if you got it. That's the only thing. But anyway, well, listen, Jim, you have yourself a great one, man. Great to hear you. A long time no speak. I know it's been a few weeks. So I'm glad to hear your voice. God bless you, and you stay safe and healthy, Roger.
Roger, and likewise up that way. So you always beautiful signal, your FM quality now. for whatever that means. You're just a beautiful curve and a joy to copy. So 73 up that way, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And this is KC9VKV, again wrapping up for our QSO-VLOG net for Friday afternoon from 3:30 till 5. We record live. Right now we've been a pumpkin here for about 20 minutes, so we got to get out. We'll say 73 to everyone. This is KC9VKV, returning the frequency to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV, clear.
Good job, old man.
Thank you.